Welcome to InfoGamer, my name's Mark, and I want to show you all the steps it takes to creating an awesome video game. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click this logo and get subscribed. Today we're going to be working on an art asset from Hill Climber 2. We're going to be doing one of the buttons. It's going to look like this, and I want to show you all the steps to creating a button like that, because if you guys can learn how to create art assets like these professional companies do, then all of a sudden you can change them up a bit and make them your own and make a professional looking game. So let's get started creating that button in Photoshop. Now if you don't have Photoshop, you can try and follow along in another art program.
Alright, I have a new Photoshop project open and I have a reference image pulled in. This is actually the button from Hill Climber 2 that we are going to reference, try to recreate. So when we create our own buttons, we can maybe use some of the steps they used and make awesome buttons as well, but we'll make them our own. Okay, so I have the rulers enabled. You can do that, view rulers, and let's go ahead and drag guides down to the center of our canvas. Okay, let's select the font or the text. Make sure it's white, make sure it's capitalized, and let's type race. Let's drag that to the center using the guides. Then let's hit Control and select the text layer, this text square, and that gives us a nice mask marquee tool around our race font. Let's then go up to filter, no, it's not filter, it's select, modify, and expand. 8 pixels should be good enough. We are expanding this marquee mask to be bigger than our font. We can then add another layer down here and hit G to fill this mask. Let's change the color to black, and then we can drag this layer lower than our text layer. Alright, how's that looking for a font? Okay, so as you can tell, the font is a little bit different. If you want to get the same font, you'd have to cut out one of the letters and go to myfonts.com, put that letter in as a JPEG, and then you can check the different fonts that they have for you. A bunch of these C's come really close to the actual C that I pulled, but let's go back to creating this button. Alright, let's select this. Let's select the rectangle tool and select in the center of our guides. Whoop. Select and then hit Alt and drag that button out to where you want it to be. Right there is good enough for me. And we're going to want to change this color back to black. We can then get rid of this mask ellipse or mask marquee tool just by selecting another marquee tool and selecting it in the window. Okay, let's grab the rectangle tool again. Make sure that this other rectangle is already deselected. Let's select in the center of the guides, hit Alt, and let's drag it out. Okay, I'm going to be changing this color to the light green color in the background of this button. Let's then move it up, and we can hit Control T and drag this down to where we want. Okay, that's probably good enough. You guys might not be able to see this lower rectangle right here, but it's actually provides a little bit of like shading or 3D-ness to the button. So let's go ahead and add that square in with the rectangle tool again. Gonna hit Alt, and this rectangle is quite a bit thinner, but we can just drag it to the edge of the first one. Let's change the color to a dark gray. Let's hit Control T again and actually drag this square a lot smaller. Okay, let's drag guidelines in from the left to the inside background square. And you want to line it up with that outside square, or that inside square. Let's grab the rectangle tool again, select the center, drag out, hit Alt, and we want to keep the edges in a little bit because we're going to drag out the other edges. And let's pick the color and select this dark green. Okay, let's drag this up to line up with our top. Okay, for some reason when I hit OK it didn't drag properly. Okay, when we have our inside rectangle where we want it to be, you can hold Control and select the corners and drag them to Okay, we're almost finished. Let's just rasterize this layer so we can put this little highlight on it. And you rasterize by double clicking here and go to rasterize layer. And then we can select this ellipse tool, select in the center, hit Alt, and this one you're going to want to drag out a little bit wider. Okay, that is probably good enough. We can drag it up, and then let's grab the fill tool, change the color of the fill to this lighter green. And there we go. Let's drag the font layer up. Sweet, there you go. You have created a button from Hill Climber 2. Now we can always manipulate the font, change it to a different font, increase the size or make it smaller so it fits better. But as you can see, this button is really close to this Hill Climber 2 button. If you really want to get these corners exact, you probably want to drag in some more grid lines so you can drag it right to a vertice. And yeah, the vertice of the grid lines. Awesome job creating that art asset from Hill Climber 2. Amazing job. You guys just created a button that was good enough to be in Hill Climber 2. Now, a couple things before I wrap up. Why did they pick green for this button? Well, green is the starting color of any race. So it just makes sense that this button is green because it starts the race. And another thing, why did they pick 3 different green colors? Well, it adds a 3D effect. It's more eye-catching, and it looks way better than just a green square with a black box around it. Now this next part I can't emphasize enough. If you guys are learning the steps it takes to creating professional artwork and assets that actually go into real games, you're going to know what it takes to create professional looking artwork and assets for your own games. Now we don't want to copy their button exactly, and we don't want it to people to start playing our game and be like, oh my gosh, they just took this from Hill Climber 2. You know, we're going to want to make it our own. But as we go through creating these art assets like other people's games, you're not going to know the steps. You're going to know what it takes, and you're going to be able to create awesome artwork that's your own, that you can put into your own games and make it look super freaking awesome. So I hope I'm not kicking a dead horse here, and I hope you guys are understanding why I want to share all these art asset videos with you. It's because when we learn how to create buttons, scenery, vehicles, all the different stuff that go into these video games, like Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, like all those other games, we're going to be all the better for it and going to be able to create more more entertaining games because our artwork is so amazing. So thanks again for watching this video, and it's time to wrap up.
In an upcoming video, we're going to show you guys how to create a panel from Hill Climber 2, and then we're going to create a vehicle from Hill Climber 2 as well. Then we're going to throw it all into Unity, throw some code on it so the panels will work and the buttons will work, and then the vehicle will work as well. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that again. Come on, subscribe. Down here in the logo, click it, get subscribed, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.